All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I am feeling good. I just had some Chick-fil-A, recharged the batteries, ready to go. So, a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'm going to lead in just a second here with Ilhan Omar, yet again, getting viciously tarred and smeared, saying something incredibly based and true, but it leading to a colossal backlash. We also have Ron DeSantis, Mr. Free Speech himself, suddenly is against free speech when it comes to the issue of Israel. Perhaps the least surprising thing you'll hear today, because all of these pro-free speech guys immediately collapse and flip on that when it comes to Israel. Later on, we have an evangelical preacher who absolutely went nuts on Trump. Kind of interesting, considering that this guy is very conservative in his own respect. And then Kristi Noem murking her dog, and Russell Brand randomly becoming a born-again Christian. Okay, so we'll talk about all that and much more. You guys know the drill. Everybody do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That's below. Click that little Subsies button. Trying to get to 10 million subs so we can add another plaque to this beautiful wall behind me. And yeah, let's dive into it. So I'm sure you guys remember the first big scandal, I'm putting that in air quotes, about Ilhan Omar. She came out, and I believe she said on Twitter, quote, "It's all about the Benjamins." And she was referring to AIPAC. Now, she was smeared as a result of that because people were insisting her point was, like, but Jews only care about money, or something like that, the classic old anti-Semitic trope. But again, she wasn't referring to Jews. She was referring to the Israel lobby, talking about AIPAC. So she was, in other words, 100% correct. AIPAC is colossally powerful. They spend millions and millions of dollars every single election season to get pro-Israel politicians elected. And then when those politicians get elected, they pass pro-Israel policies. They do the bidding of the Israel lobby that funded them. That's just called a fact. Now, people might not like it. They might be uncomfortable with it. That's too fucking bad. Facts are facts, and she's right about that. Now, people, of course, would then graduate to the argument, well, you never single out any other countries' lobbies. Not true. She's also said similar things about Saudi Arabia and the Saudi lobby. Not only has she called for a boycott of Israel, she's also called for a boycott of Saudi Arabia. So all the arguments just fall one by one by one. She's right. Her detractors are wrong, and they could suck her nuts, okay? So that was the first scandal. And ever since then, she's been tarred and smeared in the media as an anti-Semite. I think the thing that frustrates me the most about this is everybody knows that that's not true. Everybody knows what she meant when she said it's all about the Benjamins, talking about the Israel lobby. Again, she's just correct. Well, now we have another very, very similar scandal. So she showed up, I guess, to one of these college protests where you have pro-Palestine protesters out there at various colleges and universities. They're calling for the universities and colleges to divest from Israel and stop the financial entanglements. They're also calling to end the genocide and the ethnic cleansing in Gaza. So she goes there, and you have a local news station records her, and she says the following.
Do you think this will translate to the Jewish students who are facing anti-Semitism here on campus?
So I actually met a lot of Jewish students that are in the encampment, and I think it is really unfortunate that people don't care about the fact that all Jewish kids should be kept safe, and that we should not have to tolerate anti-Semitism or bigotry for all Jewish students, whether they are pro-genocide or anti-genocide.
So her bad faith detractors seized on this, and they went in, okay? Here's what the head of the ADL, Jonathan Greenblatt, he said, "Watch this clip. It features Ilhan walking through Columbia proclaiming that Jewish students should not have to tolerate anti-Semitism, whether they're pro-genocide or anti-genocide. It is patently false and blood libel to suggest that any Jewish students are pro-genocide. It is gaslighting to impute that Jewish people are somehow at fault for being harassed and menaced, with signs and slogans literally calling for their own extermination. It is abhorrent that a sitting member of Congress would slander an entire group of young people in such a cold, calculated manner. This is how people get killed. Ilhan must apologize. I'm not holding my breath." Wow. So Ilhan chimes in. She says, "This is the pro-genocide I was talking about. Can you condemn this like I have condemned anti-Semitism and bigotry of all kinds?" And she quotes, "Kill all Arabs. They are all Hamas, all grotesquely evil, and level Gaza." And she's got a link to the people who said this. And Her point is, look, I actually believe in free speech. I actually believe in it. There should be no bigotry or anti-Semitism or any authoritarian crackdown on anybody, whether they're saying, hey, protect Gaza and free Palestine, or if they're Zionist assholes like Jonathan Greenblatt, and they're out there saying genuinely deplorable things. She's saying even in that instance, they shouldn't face anti-Semitism and they shouldn't face a crackdown. That's what she's saying. By the way, a lot of people who heard her say this, they misinterpret what she was saying. They think she's saying that the students who are pro-genocide are on the Palestinian side and that they want the genocide of the Jews and that in that instance, they should still be protected. So they're twisting what she meant. What she meant was whether they're anti-genocide as in they want to protect Gaza or they're pro-genocide in that they want to bomb Gaza into oblivion. What she's saying is in both of those instances, these people should not face bigotry or an authoritarian crackdown. So in other words, the point she's making is almost like an olive branch to her fucking vicious, evil smear merchant detractors. She's like, look, even for you assholes, I'm on the side of free speech. Even for you pricks, I'm on the side of free speech. But of course, it gets smeared. And then to Jonathan Greenblatt's point, the idea that, well, none of the pro-Israel students are pro-genocide. Fucking spare me, man. Spare me. Nobody's buying your bullshit anymore. In fact, I know I've showed you guys this a million times, but here are the numbers out of Gaza. 42,000, more than 42,000 dead Palestinians. Over 38,000 are civilians. Over 15,000 kids. Over 10,000 women. 2 million out of the 2.3 million people there are homeless. Fucking spare me with the idea, oh, bro, what are you talking about? They just want to defend themselves against Hamas. Oh, do they? Is that why you had to make 2 million Palestinians homeless? Is that why you had to shut off all the water and electricity and food and fuel? I mean, stop insulting our intelligence. We have 322 healthcare facilities that have been bombed, 445 schools. They've done controlled demolitions of all the schools in Gaza. And he has the nerve, you're being an anti-Semite by saying that the Zionists are pro-genocide. The Zionists are definitely pro-genocide. And by the way, as Ilhan pointed out, some of them at the top of Israel are basically saying it. They're saying it. Jesus Christ. Okay, so now I just want to read for you. I like this point here from Zed Jelani. I'm not sure this complaint carries the most weight after you went on television and said that the hundreds of thousands of student protesters out there are being controlled by Iran. I mean, why do you demand respect for your point of view, but denigrate others for theirs? And by the way, the idea, all these protesters are controlled by Iran. We've heard that. We've heard from Hamas. We've heard from Hezbollah. We've heard from the Houthis. The big Houthi lobby is funding all these student protesters. If you were to make that same argument, but flip it and say all the Zionists out there are funded by Israel, they would say, oh, you're a massive anti-Semite. You're saying there's this massive cabal of Jews conspiring to get Zionist protesters in the streets. Anti-Semite. But he gets to say it about Iran controlling the student protesters. He gets to say it about Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthis controlling the student protesters. Please, look, I'm begging the Zionists, at least try a little bit, right? At least hit us with something that we don't immediately slap the fuck down right away. Give me something that's a little bit intellectually stimulating in terms of disagreeing with us. They have nothing. They have nothing. What Ilhan Omar said is literally the classic pro-free speech position. I'm going to play it one more time.
Do you think this will translate to the Jewish students who are facing anti-Semitism here on campus?
So I actually met a lot of Jewish students that are in the encampment, and I think it is really unfortunate that people don't care about the fact that all Jewish kids should be kept safe and that we should not have to tolerate anti-Semitism or bigotry for all Jewish students, whether they are pro-genocide or anti-genocide.
Classic free speech position. Classic. And guys like Jonathan Greenblatt, his whole fucking thing is to just smear. She said it's blood libel to say that any Jewish students are pro-genocide. The Zionists, there are some Zionists who are kind of openly on that side. And by the way, we covered the story yesterday of all of the classic examples of cry bully shit coming from the Zionist side. We covered this yesterday. Pro-Israel agitator shouts, "Kill the Jews," gets everyone else arrested. These are the people that Jonathan Greenblatt wants you to think are the victims. The ones who are agent provocateurs who infiltrate and try to make the pro-Palestinian students look bad. We showed you this video. This woman walking through one of the pro-Palestine protests with her dog, not at all threatened in any way, shape, or form, and she calls the cops on the pro-Palestine protesters. Here, I'll show you this. These are the sorts of people that Jonathan Greenblatt doesn't want you to criticize, and also these are the types of people he would defend. How dare you say the intentions aren't pure for the Zionists in these protests? Here, watch.
In harm's way. Nobody is going to hurt them. Nobody is going to attack them. This person is not in harm's way.
They are free to leave.
Nobody is going to hurt them. Nobody is going to attack them. This person is not in harm's way.
Yes, they're right in front of me right now. They're inside.
She's calling the cops.
This person is not in harm's way.
I need funds, genocide. I need help. I know that, but they're surrounding me. They won't let me move.
No, you are free to move. You are free to move. She is free to move.
You are free to move.
And that goes on, where she plays the victim. We also have this. You guys saw this video. Pro-Israel protester tries to start a fight, calls someone the N-word, and then spits on them. Here, show you this one. Here he is, right here. And by the way, what Ilhan is saying is, even all these assholes have a right to free speech, and I'm going to defend them. That's what she's saying. And Jonathan Greenblatt still finds a way to tar her and smear her and act like she's the asshole. No, dude. You're the fucking asshole. You're the asshole. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.